Hello and welcome to AITPM News. And in this edition, even Ford thinks the future is not just about cars. Is a trackless tram the answer for Parramatta Road? Sydney corridor inquiries looking back at a major challenge to traditional transport thinking. And 4 quick snippets: shared bikes for the disabled, the launch of a transport knowledge hub, an Australian trial of road user charging, and the South Australian Government announces the first round of autonomous technology funding. How the Ford Motor Company sees the future of transport is a case study in not being locked into the existing situation. They recently held a forum in Melbourne titled Future with Ford. Cheryl Connolly is Ford's international futurist. We spoke to her after the forum and she admits that her role is not to predict what the car of the future will look like.
I can't predict the future. My title is a bit misleading, but it really is to challenge the status quo, right? So I think as the car means different things to different people, we'll see it manifest itself physically in different forms. I think with technology you have to be careful because that old saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And it's a really important guideline. And right now, customers are at the center of everything we do. And as we think about mobility as a service, that means that we have to do business completely differently. And one of the things that we're discovering is that every day is different. It's different for you. I'm sure it's different for me. And we plan our journeys on a daily basis. So where are we going? How do we want to get there? What are our priorities as we go from point A to point B? And sometimes it means driving your own vehicle. Other times it means, no, I want to take public transport, or I want to share a ride, or I want to ride a bicycle. And what we see in the future is being part of that decision-making process. And it's really consumer-centric. It's not about technology. It's really about what are your priorities and how can we help you manage them and enable?
Parramatta Road through Sydney's inner west is a classic old-style main road with typical major problems. The controversial West Connex tunnel should take some traffic off Parramatta Road, and the local council then wants to put a trackless tram system down the centre of Parramatta Road. Strategic Transport Planner Ken Welsh describes the new system.
The key elements of the system are getting in centre running rather than curbside running so that you don't sterilise the curbside space. That provides in the long term an opportunity for parking, which operates as a buffer for pedestrians, makes it a safer, friendly environment. Also, using vehicles that are narrower than a conventional bus and have the carrying capacity of light rail or thereabouts. Big thing with them is having optical guidance, so cameras and LiDAR systems that will keep the vehicles within a very narrow width lane, 2.6 or a 2.8 metre lane perhaps.
There have been some issues with trials of this type of transport, but by 2023 it is anticipated that technology will have developed much further. With the announcement of another road tunnel project in Sydney, Fairfax Media recently ran a story titled "Before Tunnelling, Ask the Public and Consider Public Transport." It concerns the thoughts of retired Supreme Court Judge David Kirby, who was the commissioner in 2 road corridor inquiries in Sydney in the early 80s. The inquiries represented a major challenge to the Road Authority on what might be the real value of a large road project. Not the least was the cross-examination of transport modellers on what were the assumptions in their models and what do the results really mean. One of the challenges was not just to take the aggregated figure of travel time savings, but to dig down and identify just how much time each person was predicted to save. It was a time when the road authorities were not well versed in dealing with challenges to traditional concepts. Portland, Oregon has one of the largest smart bike shares in the US, and soon it might also have one of the most diverse, adding hand-powered cycles, easy balancing trikes and tandems to its 1,000-strong fleet in order to help people with disabilities. In the UK, a Transport Knowledge Hub has been launched. The new free online tool equips local authorities and other local decision makers with the tools and expertise to make cost-effective impact decisions for local transport that will benefit the local economy. It is also hoped that it will be a catalyst for creating a community of local decision makers. Transport Certification Australia has implemented a new application that monitors heavy vehicle road use, enabling road use charging. This application is currently being used in a limited trial to improve road access into the Kwinana industrial area. 7 projects will share in $5.6 million from the first round of funding from the South Australian Government's Future Mobility Lab Fund to drive local development of autonomous vehicle technology. The projects include testing how vehicles communicate to one another and roadside infrastructure, Adelaide Airport electric driverless shuttle trial, and driverless cargo pods and student shuttles at Tonsley Innovation Precinct. Links to all these stories can be found on the AITPM website.